Oo, na-test ko. Delay telecast. Oh, kadang hulag pa ikaw na oh. Delayed telecast as in delayed. Oh, pag operatibo ka pirma oh. Na. Delayed telecast, hindi delayed yan. Karoon pa na. Oh, bago lang. Delayed gani. Shall we start? Ma'am Debbie, shall we start?
Okay na? Okay na ta? Kumusta sulod ko da?
Dugay-dugay. Dugay-dugay ba oh? Na.
Kumusta sulod ko?
Okay ta?
Okay na? Start na ta? Okay ah. Oo, nag-ano doon, nagasagra?
Pwede naman karap sa mga kalakay. Pwede ka naman. Baka ka, Greg. Ay, buhok mo. Tama man, nakaliwat ko.
Oo. Okay na. O, sige. Good morning, Santa Barbara. Good morning, Iloilo. Good morning, Philippines. Welcome to this pre-bid conference. We are here today to clear the air of some doubts. There are many things to be clarified and some questions to be answered. We are here to offer some solutions to the problems you may have in your minds. Please be ready with your questions. Be sure to be very clear with your questions so that we can move on smoothly. Let us pray fervently for God's blessings. Shall we pray? Please, shall we all rise? Okay. Glorious and blessed God, we place our work and ourselves into your hands. Anoint our creativity, our ideas, our energy, so that even the smallest task may bring honor to your name. God, when we are challenged, guide us. When we are weary, energize us. May the work that we do and the way we do it bring hope, life, and courage to all with whom we minister within the organization. Bless our management with wisdom and discernment, our employees with commitment and compassion, and our stakeholders and their families with courage and strength. Rooted in your love, may your face illuminate all activities done in your name. Amen. Our procurement head, Engineer Elna Nepomuceno, will now call the roll.
Good morning once again. May I introduce to you the members of Bids and Awards Committee of Iloilo 4th District Engineering Office, headed by Engineer Sentia C. Caigoy as PAC Chairperson, Engineer Eva Espidonia as back Vice Chairperson, Engineer Gemma H. Tamagos as back regular member, Engineer Madonna May S. Sadaba, back provisional member, end user for construction projects, and we have Miss DBL Amper present from our online on Microsoft Teams apps. And may I turn over this to Engineer Sanchez C. Kaigoy for our private conference for civil works projects for our early procurement activity.
Good morning once again. Since the members of the Bids and Awards Committee are in quorum, I declare this pre-bid conference for civil works to order. For contract ID number 25GI0005, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Manampunay, Leon, Iloilo. Location, Leon, Iloilo. Funding source, FY 2025 National Expenditure Program, Early Procurement Activity. The scope of works, construction of multipurpose building gym with 15-meter by 28-meter dimension, including the ring holder with fiberglass board, electrical works, and storm drainage and downspout, catch basins as per plan and specification. Approved budget for the contract is 4,950,000 and the contract duration is 166 calendar days. For contract ID 25GI0006, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay San Vicente, Leganes, Iloilo. Location, Leganes, Iloilo. Funding source, FY 2025 National Expenditure Program, Early Procurement Activity. The scope of works, construction of multipurpose building gym with 16-meter by 26.2-meter dimension, including masonry concrete painting works, ring holder with fiberglass board, electrical works, and storm drainage and downspout as per plan and specification. With the approved budget for the contract, 4,950,000, and the contract duration is 166 calendar days. For contract ID number 25GI0007, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Santo, Nino, San Miguel. Location, San Miguel, Iloilo. Funding source is FY 2025 National Expenditure Program, Early Procurement Activity. The scope of works, construction, multipurpose building gym with 16-meter by 28-meter dimension, with concreting of remaining unpaved floor area, masonry concrete painting works, catch basins, and storm drainage and downspout as per plan and specification. With approved budget for the contract, 4,950,000. The contract duration is 177 calendar days. For contract ID number 25GI0014, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Calaboa, Oeste, Santa Barbara, Iloilo. Location, Santa Barbara, Iloilo. Funding source, FY 2025 National Expenditure Program, Early Procurement Activity. Scope of works, construction of multipurpose building, 5-span cover gym with a dimension of 15.5 meter by 27.5 meter, including slab and storm drainage and downspout as per plan and specification. The approved budget for the contract is 4,950,000 and the contract duration is 140 calendar days. For contract ID number 25GI0015, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Pepe, Lunok, Leon, Iloilo. Barangay Pepe, Leon, Iloilo. Location, Leon, Iloilo. Funding source, FY 2025 National Expenditure Program, Early Procurement Activity. Scope of works, construction of multipurpose building gym with a dimension of 14 meter by 27.7 meter, includes painting of columns, plumbing, and electrical works as per plan and specification. And the approved budget for the contract is 4,950,000. The contract duration is 154 calendar days. For contract ID number 25GI0016, construction of multipurpose building, Barangay Talongadian, Santa Barbara, Iloilo. Location, Santa Barbara, Iloilo. Funding source, FY 2025, National Expenditure Program, Early Procurement Activity. Construction of multipurpose building covered gym with a dimension of 13.5 by 26.75 meter, including slab, painting finished columns, provision of ring holder for the existing fiberglass board with ring electrical works, and storm drainage and downspout as per plan and specification. The approved budget for the contract is 4,950,000. Contract duration 143 calendar days.
For eligibility requirements, we have the Class A documents. You have the legal documents, technical documents, and financial documents. And for Class B documents, for joint venture. For Class A documents, legal documents. Under that, we have the registration certificate from Securities and Exchange Commission, Department of Trade and Industry for sole proprietorship or Cooperative Development Authority for cooperatives. Mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, or the equivalent document for exclusive economic zones or areas. And tax clearance for Executive Order 398 Series of 2005 as finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. For technical documents, have the valid pickup license or special pickup license in case of joint venture, and registration for the type and cost of the contract to be bid. For the contract ID 25 GI 005, GI 006, GI 007, GI 0014, GI 0015, and GI 0016, with license categories C and D, kind of project, GB-1, building or industrial plant, with a size range of small b. Statement of the bidders of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, similar to the contract to be bid. Under that, we have adjusted to current prices using Philippine Statistical Authority Consumer Price Indices. Another one must be at least 50% of the approved budget for the contract to be bid, provided, however, that the contractors under small a and small b categories without similar experience on the contract to be bid may be allowed to bid if the cost of such contract is not more than the allowable range of contract cost of the registration based on the guidelines as prescribed by the PCOB, and a contract shall be considered similar to the contract to be bid if it has the following categories. For contract ID 25GI 005, 006, 007, 14, 15, and 16. For major category of works, building, construction without piles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 story. Similar categories of work, building, construction with piles, high-rise concrete frame, cast-in-place piles. Building, construction with piles, low-rise concrete frame, cast-in-place piles. Building, construction with piles, high-rise concrete frame, driven piles. Buildings, construction with piles, low-rise concrete frame, driven piles. Buildings, construction without piles, high-rise, concrete frame. Building, industrial plant, low-rise. Building, industrial plant, high-rise. Building, industrial plant, medium-rise. For financial documents, we have the bidder audited financial statements showing, among others, the bidder's total and current assets and liabilities stamped received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institution for the preceding calendar year, which shall not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. The bidder computation of net financial contracting capacity must be at least equal to approved budget for the contract, computed using the prescribed formula. NFCC is equals to current asset minus current liabilities times 15 minus the value of all outstanding or uncompleted portion of the project under ongoing contracts, including awarded contract yet to be started, coinciding with the contract to be bid. The values of the domestic bidders' current asset and current liabilities shall be based on the latest audited financial statement submitted to the BIR. For the Class B documents for joint venture, valid joint venture agreement in accordance with RA 4566 and its IRR. Each partner of the joint venture shall submit the respective PhilGIP certificate of registration in accordance with Section 8.5.2 of this IRR. The submission of the technical and financial eligibility documents by any of the joint venture partners constitutes compliance, provided that the partner responsible to submit the NFCC shall likewise submit the statement of all of its ongoing contract and audited financial statements.
Submission and receipts of bids. For the first envelope, which is the technical proposal, and the second envelope is the financial proposal. One original copy of the first technical and second financial envelope of its bid. It is noted that prior to the sale of bidding documents, only the following documents are required from the prospective bidders to wit. First, we have the company ID or any government-issued ID. Another, authorization letter, if not authorized liaison officer in the CWA, such as special power of attorney for sole proprietorship or board partnership joint venture resolution with secretary certificate for corporation, partnership, joint venture, or cooperative. The contents of the first envelope, which is the technical proposal. First, we have the valid and updated certificate of PhilGIP's registration under Platinum membership in compliance with GPPB Resolution 15/2021, dated October 14, 2021, issued in accordance with the amended Section 8.5.2 of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. Another is the pickup license and registration, special pickup license if joint venture. Another, statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, statement of single largest completed contract, the NFCC computation, and the joint venture agreement if applicable. The original copy of the bid security in the prescribed form, amount and validity period. If in the form of the surety bond, submit also a certification issued by Insurance Commission or original copy of the notarized bid securing declaration. For the bid validity period, we have 120 calendar days from the date of submission of bids. And the bid security validity period is also 120 calendar days from the date of submission of bids. The form of bid security with the corresponding amount of bid security not less than the required percentage of the approved budget for the contract. First, we have the cash or cashier's manager's check issued by Universal Commercial Bank, which is 2% of the approved budget for the contract. The bank trap guarantee or a revocable letter of credit issued by Universal Commercial Bank is also 2% of the approved budget for the contract. For surety bond callable on demand issued by a surety or insurance company, duly certified by the Insurance Commission, as authorized to issue such security is also 5% of the approved budget for the contract. The project requirements, which shall include the following. We have the organizational chart for the contract to be bid, the list of contractors' personnel such as project manager, project engineers, materials engineers, and foremen to be assigned to the contract to be bid with their complete qualification and experience data. Another is the list of contractors' major equipment units which are owned, leased, or and under purchase agreements, supported by a proof of ownership or certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor vendor for the duration of the project, as the case may be. Another is the original duly signed omnibus sworn statement and, if applicable, original notarized secretary certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or original special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture giving full power and authority to its officer to sign the omnibus sworn statement and do acts to represent the bidder. The contents of the second envelope, which is the financial proposal, are the following.
The original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form in accordance with the form prescribed in Section 10, bidding forms of bidding documents. Another is the original of duly signed bid prices in the Bill of Quantities, or the BOQ. Duly accomplished detailed estimates form, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals using in coming up with a bid. And the last is the cash flow by quarter.
Bid evaluation. The financial component of the bids of each pass bidder shall be evaluated using non-discretionary criteria, including arithmetical corrections for computational errors, and thus determine the correct total calculated bid prices. The Bids and Awards Committee shall automatically disqualify any total calculated bid price which exceeds the approved budget for the contract. The following factors are to be considered in the evaluation of the bid prices. First, completeness of the bids. This includes bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bidding documents, including the bill of quantities, shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. Next, no price in required item shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. Next, indicating a zero or a dash free to the government and all prices are deemed to include all taxes. For arithmetical corrections, first, bid prices in figures versus words, words prevail. Total price per item versus unit price per item as extended or multiplied by the quantity of the item, unit price prevails. Next, total price versus actual sum of component items, actual sum prevails. And unit cost and detailed estimates versus unit cost and bill of quantities prevails. And total calculated bid prices as evaluated and corrected for computational errors and other modifications which exceed the approved budget for the contract shall be disqualified.
For post-qualification, the post-qualification shall verify, validate, and ascertain the veracity, authenticity, and validity of all the Class A eligibility documents supporting the PhilJEP Certificate of Registration and Membership in accordance with Section 8.5.2 of Revised IRR of RA 9184 and all the other statements made and documents submitted by the bidder using non-discretionary criteria. These criteria shall consider but shall not be limited to the following. Legal requirements to verify, validate, and ascertain licenses, certificates, permits, and agreements submitted by the bidder, and the fact that it is not included in any blacklist as provided in Section 25.3 of Revised IRR of RA 9184. For technical requirements, verification and validation of the bidder's stated competence and experience, and the competence and experience of the bidder's key personnel to be assigned to the project. Verification of availability and commitment, and our inspection and testing for the required capacities and operating conditions of equipment units to be owned, leased, under purchase by the bidder for use in the contract under bidding. Failure of the prospective bidder to state a complete technical description of the pledged equipment and the specific location shall result in the bidder's automatic post-disqualification for award of contract and forfeiture of its bid security per DO number 58 series of 2012. Checking the performance of the bidder in its ongoing government and private contracts if any of these ongoing contracts shows negative slippage of at least 15% in any one project, or negative slippage of at least 10% in each of two or more contracts. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works and to complete ongoing contracts in the prescribed date after receipt of the notice and defects and deficiencies. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works on contracts with pending certificates of acceptance in the prescribed date after the receipt of notice of defects and failures. Substandard quality of works or unsatisfactory performance per contract term and condition at the time of inspection. DO number 127 series of 2018, strict application of RA 9184 in the conduct of post-qualification of bidders with delayed ongoing contracts with the DPWH. Note that if the BAC verifies any of these deficiencies to be due to the contractor's fault or negligence, the agency shall disqualify the contractor from the award. Ascertainment of the authenticity of the bid security and its correctness as to type, amount and wording, and validity period as required in the bidding documents. For financial requirements, to verify, validate, and ascertain the bid price proposal of the bidder, and whenever applicable, the required committed line of credit in the amount specified and over the period stipulated in the bidding documents or the bidder's NFCC to ensure that the bidder can sustain the operating cash flow of that transaction. Notes on the personnel and equipment requirements of the project as per DO number 9, series of 2012, technical requirements for civil works projects for public bidding. If a proposed key technical personnel is an employee of the bidder and working on another project at the same time of the bidding, the bidder shall submit a certification that the personnel will be pulled out from the ongoing project once the bidder is awarded the contract, and he or she will be replaced with another person with equal or better qualifications as certified by the head of the implementing office. The bidder may propose a key technical personnel who is not its employee, provided that the said personnel is required to submit a certification that he or she will work for the bidder if it is awarded the contract under bidding. This certification shall be included in the first envelope of the sealed bid. Also to be verified during post-qualification is the set of equipment pledged by the bidder. The bidder should specify in the submitted bid the location of the equipment where they can be inspected. If any equipment is not in the specified location, then the bidder shall be post-disqualified. The list of key personnel for all the projects, we have the following. Project manager, 5 minimum years of similar experience and 5 minimum years of total work experience. For project engineer, we have 3 minimum years of similar experience and 3 minimum years of total work experience. For project inspector, 2 minimum years of similar experience and 2 minimum years of total work experience. For materials engineer 1, 2 minimum years of similar experience and 2 minimum years of total work experience. For safety officer, we have 1 minimum year of similar experience and 1 minimum year of total work experience. For foreman, we have 1 minimum year of similar experience and 1 minimum year of total work experience. Note that implementation of Section 3.0 of DO number 148 series of 2024 guidelines on the accreditation and assignment of the contractors and consultants project engineers. For the list of key equipment units, which is maybe owned, leased, or under purchase agreements, supported by certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor or vendor for the duration of project, the list of key equipment units, you may refer to the posted bidding documents. The proof of ownership of equipment requirements are copies of current LTO official receipt and certificate of registration of the equipment, which should be attached together with the affidavit of ownership. In case of lease equipment, a lease contract and affidavit of a commitment should be submitted with the lessor or owner as the pledger of equipment, stating therein that the equipment will be available for the whole duration of the project. For purchase agreement, the description of the equipment to be purchased, such as brand, model, type of equipment, motor number, body number, and the capacity must be indicated in the document. Otherwise, the BAC will not honor the purchase agreement and the bidder will be declared as non-complying. Likewise, list of the contractor's major equipment units pledged to be used for the project must be supported by proof of ownership it is owned, lease agreement if it is being leased, and purchase agreement if to be purchased. A certification of availability of equipment for the duration of the project must also be provided by the equipment owner and or lessor vendor. Prospective bidders or contractors are likewise required for the inclusion of the minimum materials testing equipment in the technical component of the bid, in compliance with DO number 11 series of 2017, superseding DO 80 series of 1990 and all other issuances. All documents in support of the ownership of equipment and other documents photocopied from the original shall be legibly readable and will be authenticated as needed during the post-qualification process. Collierly, DO number 58 series of 2012 dated August 29, 2012 further provides the inclusion of material data on the pledged equipment of the bidder by requiring all bidder or contractor to fully comply with the contract minimum equipment requirements as prescribed in the bid documents, a complete technical description of their pledged equipment, whether old or leased, such as but not limited to the engine number, year model, chassis number, plate number, production and load capacity, availability, and operating condition. In addition, bidders were also required to state in the bid documents the particular place or site where the equipment are located as provided for under DO number 9 series of 2012. That failure to comply with the said requirements shall result in the bidder's automatic post-disqualification for award and forfeiture of its bid security.
Contract award. The contract shall be awarded to the bidder whose bid has been determined to be the lowest calculated and responsive bid as a result of the detailed evaluation and post-qualification conducted. Contract award should be made within the bid validity period. Notes on subcontracting. Subcontracting is not allowed. Common reasons for rejection of bids, ineligibility, and post-disqualification of bidders. Failure to submit the original copy of the surety bond certified by the Insurance Commission, indicating the name of project, the procuring entity, and the name of contractor. Surety bid validity and bid security validity period. The overlapping of pledged equipment and committed key technical personnel. Failure to indicate the validity of bid in the bid form. Late submission of bid. Failure to submit supporting documents such as certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor vendor for the duration of the project if equipment pledged is to be leased or purchased. Negative slippage of at least 15% in any one project or negative slippage of at least 10% in any of two or more contracts. And satisfactory CPES rating. Common errors in the submission of bids, incomplete pages of bid for technical and financial documents, authority of the signatory to sign on behalf of the bidder. For the single proprietor, signatory should be the owner or proprietor only. For corporation or cooperative, board secretary certificate and board resolution. For joint venture resolution or agreement, and for the partnership, as indicated in the articles of the partnership. Deadline for submission of clarification and amendment is on October 11, 2024, addressed to St. Fiasi Caigoy, Chairperson, or to Elna Pini Pumasino, Head Procurement Unit. And the deadline for submission of bids is on October 22, 2024 at 9 a.m. Number of copies of bid proposal, one original copy of the first technical and second financial envelope of its bid. Place of submission of bids, Back Procurement Office, DPWH Iloilo 4th District Engineering Office. To all prospective bidders, you may submit your bid either electronically or manually, pursuant to Department Order Number 87, Series of 2020, and submit your queries, if any, until October 11, 2024, at least 10 days from the opening of bids. Our pre-bid conference for civil works adjourned at exactly 10:36. God bless us all.